Avatar Consulting Group. We live by our vision by understanding what is as the starting point for change, and then to use that vision to elevate the productivity and efficiency of charities, fundraisers, to concretely realize increasing charitable goals. That's why we're here. Hi, I'm Ken. Today, I want to look at some recent research by the Chronicle of Philanthropy. Good stuff. They surveyed 1,000 fundraisers, and here's what they found. Just listen to these. First thing they found, the first thing they asked of fundraisers, the 1,000 fundraisers, was how economic uncertainty is affecting the supporters to your cause. And they gave these choices. Economic uncertainty has caused some donors to reduce the amount they give. 70%. 70% said that people are giving less. The uncertainty has caused some donors to stop giving altogether. 59%. These are huge numbers. Some donors have directly reported postponing their gifts altogether. 50%. If we don't think there's a train coming down the track, and it's a challenging train, then we've got our eyes blinded. But here's what else they found. Big gifts in the period January to mid-October in 22 and 23 of $1 million. From the 1,000 fundraisers, there were 478, now 408. Fewer large gifts. But also, when we look at the dollar value of those gifts, $16.5 billion to $8.3 billion. Dramatic reduction. Fewer people, but they're also giving smaller amounts. The last thing, do you have to change? The share of fundraisers who said they have made changes already, major adjustments, 10%, moderate 47%, minor 26%, no change 17%. This means 83% of fundraisers have said their organizations have made small to large changes. It's a time of change. So in this environment, I want to give a response. What can we do about it? Right? What can we do? How can we respond? What can your organization do to reverse these very troubling changes that are a result of the environment around us? What kind of changes that we know 83% of us are undertaking already? What's the nature of those changes? Let's talk about that today. This video will attempt to answer these questions. In response to these surveys, I believe most impactful change you can make, your organization can make, in fact, it's demanded. And that is a shift from reactive to proactive fundraising. What do I mean by that? We're going to talk about that. And that is reactive versus proactive fundraising. I believe this is the shift that's absolutely called for. But let's look at it. What are the benefits? How do you gain from proactive fundraising? First of all, define it. Reactive fundraising is when you cast a big net and people respond and really arrive at their own philanthropic decision on their own. We use this extensively, if not totally, in annual fundraising. Proactive is when you start to work with people for larger gifts and large deferred gifts by targeting them specifically and knowing who to go to. And that's what we're going to discuss, the real benefits of proactive fundraising, because I think that is what's called for in this environment, that's the survey. So why proactive fundraising? Well, it allows you to take control of your leadership, major and plan giving programs. Being proactive means you're driving the bus. It strategically moves you to fewer but larger gifts. It affords a better use of resources. Reactive is casting a big net hoping gifts come to you. That's not efficient, and we're going to have to be efficient and more successful. It's much better to work with those who have already demonstrated that they care about your mission, they care about what you do as a charitable organization. Talk to them in a much deeper way, and you'll end up with a better use of resources. The foundational step to move any organization from reactive to proactive, and you almost have to do this, is to do the right kind of database analysis. What's in your database already? Think of a database as something that houses the nature of the relationships that you have with individuals. And it's all encoded in those fields that you keep, and with the volunteer experience and the giving history. All of that describes a strength of relationship. And it's to analyze that really the right way is the start of every proactive program. A database analysis, before we even start to look at what it would look like, you got to ask the question, why do it? So let's look at the benefits of a superior database analysis. As I said, when you do it, and you do it the right way, you're in control. You take control of your leadership, your major, and your plan giving programs by controlling the outcomes. Listen very carefully. By knowing what the outcomes would be if you engage a certain donor a certain way. This gives you superior planning tools to run a proactive program, and you run it like a tight business. That's what's going to be asked of us as fundraisers. Use resources in the right way. This will be an oncoming time of restricted resources. No let up in the amount of money we have to raise. That's the nature of the nonprofit business. So we have to be more efficient in reaching our goals. We have to secure more with less resources. The right database analysis, the foundational step to a proactive program, will do just that. Goals. You can attain, with the right analysis, clear, reachable goals to drive your leadership, major, and plan giving programs. And in that process, you can take that down and give realistic goals and KPIs for every member of your team. And you can start to run a different kind of shop. The impossible becomes the possible. An accurate database will illuminate the overall leadership and plan giving potential. I left out major gifts. Those can come from beyond your database. But leadership gifts and plan gifts ideally come from, and should come from, your existing database. And a proper analysis of that will give you potential. What's in there? Attainable, truly attainable in your database. When you have that clarity of what's possible, you can use that strategically. When you do that, when you have that information and you have decided clear outcomes, you can then demonstrate to senior management and boards strategic planning. You can do a plan. You can hang your hat on it and say, we'll deliver this if you give me this. You can build your business plan from it. But it's got to be the right kind of database analysis. This was other research done a few months ago by the Chronicle that showed in 2022, this was from an article, and the research was done actually by the Giving USA. It showed that in 2022, givings were down by individuals 13%. And this is part of this trend. The more current research I just showed you at the beginning just reiterates that. It takes it out and expands it. How do we reverse these pervasive trends? The trends, less fundraising revenue and shrinking budgets. How do we turn that around? We do it by committing to a proactive program that starts with a really good database analysis. That's the benefit of that kind of an analysis. get exquisite direction. It's another benefit in establishing engagement priorities. A good database analysis will tell you who to go to clearly. It'll also tell you how to go to them. It's very important. What's the best way to approach this group or that group? What do you go to them with? Do you go to them with a deferred gift option, a leadership gift option? That's very important. And finally, when do you go to them? What stage in their life is the best kind of gift? A good database analysis will direct you in all of these areas. It's a roadmap. That's what you need. Before I summarize, I want to highlight why you don't do a database analysis, because there's really good reasons why you shouldn't do it if you're not going to put it to use immediately. Don't expend the expense to have analysis done, and if you're not going to use it to project tactical outcomes. In other words, take it from an analysis theoretical and put it to work in your real world immediately for your current and deferred gift programs. A good analysis will give you those projected results. Hey, if I do this, I'll get this. That's what you need. If it isn't easy to use, it should be simple. There should be tools associated with it and make that you can use it every day in your programs. If you're not committed to those three, don't do the database analysis. But if you are, then you're committed to really foundationally launching a proactive program. This is first in a series of videos. This one is, why would you consider a database analysis? The next is, how do you choose the best? What are the best elements of the right kind of database analysis? Look for that video soon. One after that, we'll say, okay, if we wipe the slate clean, how do we build the best? What would it look like? And then I'm going to finally talk about Avatar's database analysis. We've taken our own advice and we've built the best in the fundraising world. That'll be down the road. Today, we looked at that Chronicle survey. They gave us valuable information about the state of current philanthropy. Fundraisers perceive this as tough times. Fewer people are giving smaller amounts. We know that. People are holding back, changing, reducing their gifts. We fundraisers know we have to change. 83% of us said, we're changing. But what kind of change? We must shift, I believe, to proactive fundraising. It's the only answer in this environment, focusing on every prospect who cares about what we do and working closely with that individual to develop the most support we can. A sophisticated, well-designed, and affordable database analysis is the first and foundational step to creating a productive, successful, proactive fundraising program for leadership, major, and planned gifts. Thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful, and it's the start of a longer discussion. Look for it, and as always, good fundraising.